Everybody's talking about Shido, but I have to let you know before we start this video, I sold all of my Shido. And now we're gonna discuss what's been up with this project because everybody has been asking about it after it already did a 10x in the past several months. I'll tell you what are the developments, what my plan is for Shido going on forward, and if I'm planning to buy some more potentially in the near future. So let's jump right into it. First of all, this project really is, for me, it's how a project should be built and how a project should be managed. For the past 2 years, through the depths of the bear market, they've been non-stop building. You can obviously check my last video for a deeper analysis, but they have delivered on most things and they have delivered on schedule, which for crypto projects, it's very rare, honestly. And we're gonna go through the milestones that they have. Like the first one is their Shido network. So they decided that they're gonna build a layer 1, and they did. This is not 100% live, it's still in a testnet, but it's pretty much ready. And it's pretty much, almost out there in the wild, and there will be another layer 2. And what makes this unique is that it's super fast. They claim that they have less than a second for finality for a transaction. Currently on their Explorer, the average block time is around 1.5 seconds. But obviously, they don't have enough transactions to even need less than this. And this puts them up there with the big boys. I mean, Sei is the blockchain that is claiming right now to be the fastest with finalities, I think 0.04 seconds or something like this. And this is almost up there. And for the output that most blockchains will be getting, that's more than enough. It's faster than pretty much anything out there. And that is impressive in my opinion, because this unlocks a lot of stuff that can be built on this network, because except that obviously it's fast, it's really cheap, and it's going to be very, very cheap to operate, and it's not going to cost a ton of gas. And that's, of course, opens up the world for a bunch of stuff that you can do on Shido network. And that's just one of their things. Like, they've been building a DEX. They currently have a DEX aggregator, and I know they're finalizing also the DEX, so they're going to have their own DEX. You'll be able to do also perpetuals in there. They currently have a staking mechanism which gives you about 8% APR, and that is real yield. So the taxes that they get, they put them back into the community and into the holders. And around 4 billion tokens are staked. And Shido currently has circulating supply of around 13 billion. So a huge number, almost 50% of the circulating supply is actually staked now, and that's very good. This means that there are less tokens to go around, and that's actually what led the price to explode in the past several months, because suddenly people started noticing. And by the way, this blue chart here is because they had several different contract changes, and it not might perfectly match the market cap at that time compared to the real chart that it started, but it just gives me kind of a interesting perspective of what has happened with Shido. And as you can see, it started here pretty much like a meme coin, and then it blasted off. But even after that, after my entry, it made pretty much a 10x, and I actually sold somewhere around here. I'll tell you why a little bit later. But let's just go also to other stuff that they're building. So they are talking about a stablecoin, which generally speaking is extremely bullish. And of course, if they have enough adoption and the DEX has enough volume and so on, so having a stablecoin on Shido will make, I think, good waves, even if they don't grow to one of the biggest layer 1s out there, because they don't really have the funding, they don't really have the backs of big VCs, which usually move the market. They have the tokens locked also and potentially unlocked in a bull market, and they will dump on you. But they also push a lot of marketing, and they make the biggest returns, or potentially the biggest returns in a bull market. But I think Shido has a lot going for it, especially this and the way they've been building. And by the way, they started doing AMAs on their YouTube channel. So this guy is a legend, Bjorn. If anyone can make him come on my show and talk about Shido, because I still have some questions that I cannot find answers to, I would love to. They refused because he says he's very busy, and it makes sense. He's building a lot right now, but the AMS here are really pretty much every week. He's a really solid guy. I like how he talks and the stuff that he's saying. And I've been tracking him for, as I said, almost 2 years now. So pretty impressive to see the growth and how they've been doing. But I would love to have him in the show and talk about more their plans and what else they're going to be doing and what are they rolling out. Another development is the Shido app. So they launched already the Shido DeFi card. Pretty much this is a card that you can pay stuff around. But Shido app is something new that you can go and download already. And they're launching pretty cool features. Like, for example, they have an on and off ramp. And that for crypto is a big thing because a lot of people are having troubles. And even without KYC, you can use this. I'm not sure if it will be available to everybody in all countries, but it's a pretty cool thing to have. You have the DEX in there and everything, and it's a brand new interface. This is already V something. I don't know how many updates they've done already. That's pretty cool. They're integrating soon their cards that they have that we just mentioned. You have different blockchains there. So pretty solid OpenSea integration. It's a pretty solid app. I'm actually even considering starting using it because I might want to try this on and off ramp and see how it acts also together with the card, because that would be quite interesting in my opinion. And also they are currently working on the validator. So I couldn't find exact information. They mention it in posts and tweets, there's not enough information in my opinion just yet. But they are going to have a validator network to run the proof of stake mechanism. So that would be really cool. I might be interested in running on a validator. We gotta see what the conditions will be and what the potentially the rewards will be, because currently people that are staking people that are validators or going to be validators are exempt from fees. But I want to see if there will be some kind of returns for those, because here on the Explorer it says here that it's around 57% average APR for the node operators, but honestly, it's not exactly clear how the whole system will work. So I'll definitely need some more details on this one. And when it comes to here, I wanted to show you something on this. They also are planning to introduce a burning mechanism. So pretty much all the transaction fees collected from Shido, including both base and priority fee, are directly burned, and they will have an in-burn mechanism. So this will be very cheap blockchain. So you have less than cents probably for a transaction. But just having a burning mechanism on paper, this just sounds really bullish. So always the combination of staking and burning, people go nuts. Like all the apes out there that see this, they'll be like, oh, this is bullish, I'm gonna buy it because it's gonna go to the moon. And technically Shido still can go to the moon. And although I made the right call here on Shido, I would never tell you guys to follow me blindly or buy into Shido right now, or go and see all the projects that I've been discussing on this channel and buy them blindly. Never do this, because I also do a lot of wrong calls. And if you're here only for the aping and tracking my portfolio or whatever, you can just unsubscribe for a channel. I don't really care about you, because even if you make money, you probably lose all of them too. We're here to provide education and to understand how things work and how I think, so that you yourself can extract value from crypto, because I do believe this is one of the best places pretty much to make money. Just a few more things that I wanted to mention. This will obviously be an EVM compatible chain, so you'll be able to add it to your MetaMask, which makes life a lot easier. They're going through an audit right now, which again is like professional stuff that we need to see with good crypto projects. They've been pushing marketing harder than before, and probably that's one of the reasons you see the increase in price. And when it comes to exchange listings, when you hear their CEO talk, it's not like it's their priority number one, which on one side is cool, because the exchanges usually request a lot of money upfront to list a token or so. But if this thing gets too popular by itself without having exchanges, the exchanges will want to list them, because people will want to trade it, and potentially the exchange will still make money from all the fees. So if this is the approach, and if this happens, that'll be even more bullish, because this currently is at around $80 million valuation. We looked at this when it was at, I don't know, 10, 14, 15 million. So it has already done very well, especially at the highs. But I think it could go much higher. If we get like a real craze in crypto, I still think it's a relatively good valuation. I wouldn't promise you 100x from here, And that's why actually I've sold, because just look at the price action here on the weekly. It just went crazy. It had a couple of weeks of 400% and then another 100% with barely any retracement, and every dip has been bought up pretty aggressively. So people know about this already. People are starting to shill it. It's not like it's the underdog right now. I would say I would want to see a correction, because it was starting to get overvalued here for the very short period. And what usually happens is these things either go sideways, they do something like this and stabilize. Maybe it will be a little bit lower, depends what Bitcoin will do and so on. And then it goes for another leg higher. And this is what I want to see. And that's why I didn't want to keep my back here, because I made pretty much a 10x. I sold it. I'm fine to wait and see. And if it just goes parabolic, the risk of this also fully retracing after so aggressive price action is actually quite high. So I'll be okay if we go parabolic from here, or if it goes for another leg. I don't think that will be sustainable. So we'll be able to maybe rebuy here again at the same levels. But I like what they're doing. They've been pretty much non-stop delivering. I'm extremely impressed with the team. And obviously there's some things that I mentioned that are not perfect, but there's no such thing as a perfect crypto project. So do whatever you want with the information. I'm still not gonna rush an entry on this one. And we'll see. Maybe it will turn really into another pretty cool multi-bagger, because I do want this project to succeed just because of the people behind it. If you have any questions, let me know, and you know how to find me.